Hey guys, Drummer here again. That other Dragunity deck list I told you about, figured I'd go ahead and do it for you. It's pretty similar to the other one, just minor changes with its support. We've got our triple ducks. I'll skip all the explanations since you can go watch the other video for most of that. Triple phalanx, trip legionnaire with trip alchus this time around. Double dark spear and 2 Kokemaru Dragos. The little slight differences in the monster lineup this time around is the second dark spear for a little more tune ability, and the second alchus. He's also a level 2 tuner. I don't know if I mentioned that in the last video or not. So I've added 2 targets, so I'm up to 8 total targets for consonants this time around. And I have, with 2 of these, more access to level 7. And then with the trips, this deck is just focused solely on the synchros rather than a Red Eyes engine to overrun. The Dragos I decided to main for a little bit of stun element. There is no light and dark in this deck whatsoever. So with these 2 as 1900s, I'm going to beat stick a lot of even... You know, I've got Suiciders against Gemini decks, or stun decks of that type, and I'm going to stop any lighter darks that might be there. Spells, pretty similar, just a few changes this time as well. You still have Trip Canyon with Trip Terraforming. Again, without having Canyon off very fast, the deck is slow and can't make its combos. We still run Trip Card of Consonants, even more so now, being that I have 8 targets rather than 6. The other cool thing about Consonants is that you can always use Canyon to search out a target that you're going to want engrave anyways to start recycling, and then use that to draw your 2. The difference this time around, somebody just texted me, we run 1 Pot of Avarice, because once you've run out of ducks, your Syncro engine pretty much stops. And if your synchros are fine and your opponent still has the bigger field and you've run out of Legionnaires, you've lost your ability to control their field with Alchus. So 1 Pot of Avarice to put our Legionnaires and Duxes back into the deck. 2 proxies here because I'm a little lazy and didn't decide to find them. 2 Book of Moon. Cold Wave, again, wins games. Reborn, staple, and Dark Hole, staple. Rather than the Decree build this time around, we're going to go normal. We've got 1 Judgment, 2 Warnings, double Bottomless, 1 Icarus attack. This is for that off chance that we get stuck with a Legionnaire or something on the field that we can't use, Winged Beast type. A lot of people, once Draguinities get big and start to understand how they work, a warning or a bottomless is going to instantly stop ducks and everything else. They'll probably side in trap holes to hit the Legionnaires. But another big one is Book of Moon, because if they book on summon, we don't get to equip from grave, we can't start activating effects, we can't start synchroing. So with the Icarus, there's plenty of times you're going to drop a Legionnaire, equip Alchus, pop their monster, pop their backfield, attack them for 1200, and end your turn with a 1200 sitting there. That's never really a good thing. With the Icarus sitting behind him, that allows you to play a little more safer and make better use out of that Legionnaire that's sort of stuck. Oh, and again, like Black Wings know, when a Winged Beast is set, you contribute that as well. So when they decide to book your Ducks or book your Legionnaire, so you're not going to have the effect anyways, you can just go ahead and Icarus it while it's face down. Mirror Force, staple, and double D Prison. The Syncro deck lineup is identical to the last one. In case you haven't seen the other video, I'll go ahead and go over it anyways. 5 Head's not in this one. I don't know why I have it over here. Android, Cataster, Goyo, Bryo, Trip Vaj, and a Gaybolg. I said this in the other video as well. I don't use Gay Dirge. I feel like if I'm going for 6, I'm going to be safer with Gaybolg by being able to pseudo-honest him, or be able to Alcus and or Phalanx to beat stick and field control, or Syncro into 8. So both of these two I think are better options than Gator almost always in my playtests. So that's why I run them. 1 Ancient Fairy, 1 Black Rose, 1 Stardust, again with double scrap, and Trident Dragon. Last video I mentioned something about 7-star synchros, and I sort of ran out of time. I hit that 10-minute mark. So I'll go ahead and go over that one now, which is a little easier to do with this deck since I run 2 Dark Spears as the level 3 tuner. Is this guy right here, which is hella busted because he's the first card ever to be able to do what he does. Dragunity Knight Trident, level 7 Syncro. When he hits the field, you can, well, not just when he hits the field, but once per turn, you can send up to 3 cards you control to the graveyard to look at your opponent's extra deck and send the same number of cards to the graveyard. Playtesting with him, there are times that I'll go ahead and even waste an open hand Monster Reborn and set up with Canyon and stuff to drop a Dux and Reborn back Dark Spear so that I can Synchro into Trident, send any spells, traps, whatever I have set, and say it's Mirror Match. You're going to send 3 and go into their Synchro deck and basically take all 3 of their Vaj and send them to the graveyard. At this point, the massive part of their Syncro engine has just vanished. 6 Sams, you Trident and send shit and dump all of their Sheens. Scrap Dragons are always good targets. Stardust, Black Rose against plants. Maybe you just hate Bryo and Goyo. It doesn't matter. Whatever you want, you're going to send it to grave. And then your game mechanic Synchro rules kick in where, as they were never properly summoned to begin with, you can't bring them back. So you don't have to worry about, oh shit, if I drop their Scrap Dragon form, are they just going to reborn it and then pop off my field and start attacking me? That doesn't matter because they can't bring it back. So Dragonities have this guy that is just beyond busted of being able to get into your opponent's out-of-play cards and change the mechanics of the entire game. I don't know when he's going to be legal. This is DTO4. It's not coming out with the starter deck, so I don't know when it's going to get printed. But once it gets here, being able to utilize him to get into your opponent's extra deck and get rid of what they're going to use to be able to beat you is going to be one of the biggest changes in game mechanics that I think we're going to see in the next format, or maybe the one after, depending on once he finally gets printed. If I had to guess, it might be Hidden Arsenal 4, so I think that's December. We'll see. Anyways, I hope you guys like this version of the deck. Maybe more so better, maybe not as much as the Decree. That's a playstyle thing. So rate, comment, subscribe, let me know what you think, and thanks guys.